What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today I'm bringing you guys some really cool news about Advanced Warfare, mainly around the weapons and technology that it will have. So more cool information has come out from Game Inform with pictures and details of some cool stuff. And first off, let's take a look at the futuristic motorbike, or the hoverbike vehicle that we saw in the trailer. And this has a windshield which is made of smart glass, which allows it to display the heads-up display and user interface anywhere on the glass, which is probably the type of tech that you might see in the visor, which you can see right here, and perhaps even in multiplayer. Maybe every character wears these visors. That's how your ammo shows up and your killstreaks and your minimap. All that stuff will show up through this smart glass user interface. And they also have these smart kind of angular armor, which allows them to deflect bullets, which is another really cool feature. And this is something we might see on vehicles, again possibly in multiplayer, where you can see it's unlockable in some kind of way. And finally, we also get some context on some of the scenery that takes place right here. This is actually in Detroit, so the city of Detroit in America is another confirmed location for Advanced Warfare. So that's some cool stuff about the actual hoverbike. And on the topic of vehicles, there's also this sort of VTOL aircraft, which is pretty cool. Very likely to be some kind of gunship or killstreak in multiplayer. But if we move on to the two weapons, which is really interesting, there's a lot to talk about with these two weapons. And the first one here is the 3D printer rifle. I doubt this is the final name of the weapon. It's probably just in kind of like a placeholder name, and this weapon is completely made up. Obviously, the game is set up in around 40 years from now in the future, so most of the stuff in here is made up, but it is based on a real prototype and technology that doesn't exist right now, but the kind of ideas for it do exist, and the concept of it is definitely a realistic thing in today's day and age. Like 3D printing exists now, but not to the scale where you can actually make a weapon like this. So the first thing you'll probably notice about this weapon is that it doesn't have an actual magazine. This is because the canister right here is where ammo comes from. Instead of reloading a magazine, you'll reload a liquid matter canister. Pull back this bolt and then it starts to print ammo, and like this, it will start to make bullets inside itself. And you'll see on this counter right here how much ammo you have, and again, Sledgehammer are still doing the finishing touches on the weapon, and you can see they're experimenting on which counter they want to use, A or B. And we don't know whether it will have 200 bullets in it, because that is quite a lot of bullets. It's similar to like an LMG type magazine, even with extended mags. And but Sledgehammer also said how they're still deciding on the fire rate and damage, so obviously it's still being tweaked. But I'd imagine this gun would work is how you load the canister into the weapon, as instead of reloading a magazine, you'd reload a canister, and the counter will start counting up the amount of ammunition that it's printing and showing how many bullets are ready to shoot. So you need to be careful with this weapon, because if you're in a tight gunfight, you can't just reload and start shooting another full magazine. You have to reload, and the ammo will start printing slowly, and it will start increasing. So you have to almost give it a second to almost warm up to be ready to shoot, and to be able to shoot the ammunition that's actually printing inside the weapon. So it's a very interesting way to balance. Or maybe you don't even have to change canisters. Maybe it comes with one canister and you just shoot all your bullets, and you have to wait a few seconds for more bullets to be printed inside. And but either way, it's a very interesting concept, and it's really cool sounding. And it's kind of like a new way. Instead of waiting to reload a magazine, you have to wait for your bullets to be actually printed inside a weapon, which is really interesting stuff. And let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section. What do you think about this type of weapon in obviously multiplayer and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare? Now, moving on to the second weapon, we have the plasma powered rifle. This is some crazy futuristic stuff we're seeing here, and this is actually energy rifle. And there seems to be quite a few of these in Advanced Warfare, and definitely lots of reports about energy powered weapons. And obviously we have normal ammunition weapons, but there's also, I'm starting to think there might be a new category of weapons in Advanced Warfare called the energy rifles, or something along those lines. And these basically shoot a different type of ammunition. It's been said they shoot kind of these blue massive blasts of energy, and you'll know it's an energy weapon if the muzzle flash is kind of blue and there's a blue almost explosion coming from the weapon, obviously wherever it hits. And you can see a large scale version of this on this massive weapon right here. This is basically like an AA turret, and you can see this is kind of large scale, but imagine this on a smaller scale being shot from this rifle right here. That's the kind of ammo that this weapon will shoot. And again, you might see two different colors from it, because they're still deciding on the finishing touches, whether it's going to be the silver or the black version. And maybe we could see a new category of weapons in multiplayer, like we saw the marksman rifles. Maybe there'll be a new weapon category called the energy rifles or something like that. And or maybe it's an attachment like FMJ or armor piercing rounds only for specific weapons. And or they could possibly be kill streaks, we don't know. And I was thinking it could possibly make sense if these energy rifles had a greater damage drop off. So perhaps they weren't so good at long range, they were very good at close range, or maybe even the opposite, they were really weak up close, but the further down range they get, the more they increase their velocity, and maybe they increase damage the further long range they are. Maybe they're they're better or worse at penetrating walls, or they're extra good at shooting killstreaks or certain types of armor. Possibilities are really endless, and there's lots of cool things that I'm sure they're going to be doing with these energy rifles. So these are some really cool things about Advanced Warfare. Hopefully you've enjoyed these kind of concepts and ideas. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Remember to give it a like if you found it informative. I'd really appreciate that. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I'll be keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Advanced Warfare news. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want to check out some cheap PC games like Advanced Warfare, which you can pre-order, or Xbox Live and PSN codes, you can check out G2A in the description. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys later.